Hello, my name is Fred Devall, a native of Louisiana and a lifelong Episcopalian. It's an honor to be part of the process for the search and election for the 12th Bishop of Louisiana. I've served as a priest of this diocese for 25 years, serving for 2 years as a curate at St. Luke's Church in Baton Rouge, 6 years at the Chapel of the Holy Comforter in New Orleans, serving the University of New Orleans and Southern University of New Orleans. And since 2004, I've served here at St. Martin's Church in Metairie. My wife Lisa and I have been married for 25 years, and we're the proud parents of 2 boys, Andrew, 21, and Thomas, 19, both of whom are students at Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi. Now, I'm in this process because I feel a particular call to serve at this time and in this place. Louisiana is my home, and I love the people of this state, and I know that our church has a lot to offer. A bishop is called to fill many roles and carry out many responsibilities. Chief pastor, face of the diocese, defender of the apostolic faith, and pontiff. And it's that last title that I find most intriguing. Pontiff refers to a bishop's call to be a bridge builder. Bishops are called to build bridges within the church and especially in the world. And that's something that I think I've been doing for 25 years of ordained ministry, building bridges, building relationships with the people of the church and the people of the communities in which I've served. As we look forward in the diocese, there are 4 areas that I think deserve special attention: stewardship, community, evangelism, and outreach. The funding mechanism for our diocese has been and will continue to be a topic of conversation. One thing that will make this conversation a little easier is if we grow the endowment. I pledge to raise $5 million for the diocesan endowment. Each $1 million will throw off $50,000 of income annually, reducing the pressure on our diocesan funding mechanism. The second part of stewardship involves the fact that the bishop serves as the chair of the board of the Solomon Episcopal Conference Center, a great resource that we have, and yet not fully tapped. We have land for a youth facility, but we haven't really enacted that plan. As chair of the board, I would call for a strategic planning process to build a dedicated youth facility and program on the land that we already own. As bishop, I'll have a more robust visitation experience, comprising all Sunday morning services and activities. Second, I'd like to explore the bishop being in residence in different parishes during the seasons of Advent and Lent, just to be part of the rotation along with the local clergy, but to be there over the course of several weeks and really develop relationships with the laity of our diocese. Third, I'd like to schedule time each week to have coffee and lunch with groups of clergy. No agenda, just a chance to be together and share our lives in ministry. We know over the past few years the church has had to close several congregations, and yet we haven't started any new churches. I propose founding 2 new churches in the next 10 years. We know that some southern parishes have grown. For example, Ascension Parish is booming, and yet the Episcopal Church has no presence there. Hispanic ministry has gone well with Father Ben Sanchez at St. Augustine Church in Metairie. But we know that his plate is full and more opportunities abound. I propose a second Hispanic missioner for our diocese, partnering much in the same way that the diocese has with St. Augustine's in Metairie. We could replicate that same model in Baton Rouge and have a second Hispanic missioner. I'd like to center diocesan convention around particular topics. So if we took some of the topics from the 25th chapter of Matthew's Gospel, where Jesus encourages us to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, or visit those who are sick or in prison, if we came together as a diocese and had the usual presentation in breakout groups around hunger, we could then take the topic of hunger back to our local setting, to our church, to our school, to our retirement center, and really explore how it is that we already are or will address the topic of hunger and its many layers. And then we would come back the following year and report on what we've learned. And in that way, it's not just the bishop being the bridge, but the whole diocese takes on the mantle of building bridges between the church and the world. Now, I personally have a great care for our coast and creation care. And we know that climate change is not a future issue, it's here. I will be a strong voice for environmental stewardship and for the people of color and the poor who are unduly impacted by environmental damage. We also need to keep the pressure on political leaders to continue to reauthorize the master plan for coastal restoration. As someone who is frequently on the water through hunting and fishing trips, I can tell you the coast of today is not what it once was. But it's still an incredible gift. And with proper care, we can sustain it for future generations. And so it is with the church. We can get sentimental about a mythical past, or we can get on with the work before us, step into our calling and become the church we all dream about and hope to become. A church that welcomes all people. A church that brings out of its treasury the best of the new and the old. A church that steps forward in faith. A church that builds bridges. I know you. You know me. We know the potential our diocese has. We have such love for Jesus, compassion for a hurting world, and resources to make a difference. Let's build the church we all dream about and hope to become.